Good evening and welcome back to another episode of Bible Answers. As we have been going for the last few weeks, we're going to continue looking at John chapter 1. We'll finish up this chapter, Lord willing, tonight, and we'll just keep on cruising through the book. This is always is brought to you by the North Columbus Church of Christ, located in Columbus, Mississippi. Our website scrolling below me. I say scrolling below me. Scroll at the bottom of the page. It's northcolumbuschristians.com. And we have our YouTube page, which is North Columbus Church of Christ. You will find all of our videos there. If you subscribe to that, we certainly would appreciate it. You'll be notified when we upload new videos. And so, again, we've been looking at John chapter 1. We see at the very beginning, John giving a description of who Jesus is, that they've seen Jesus, that they've touched Jesus, that they know who he is, that they are a witness of him and the things in which he's done. And then we see John the Baptist coming on the scene, him witnessing about Jesus, making it clear that, some people had a question that could he be the Messiah? And he makes it clear that he is not him, but there was one that was coming that would actually be the Messiah, and he's making sure that the people are prepared for that. And so that takes us into verses 35 of John chapter 1. And it says, again, the next day, John stood with two of his disciples, and looking at Jesus as he walked, he said, "Behold, the Lamb of God." The two disciples heard him speak, and they followed Jesus. Then Jesus turned and seeing them following, said to them, "What do you seek?" They said to him, "Rabbi," which is to say, when translated, "Teacher, where are you staying?" He said to them, "Come and see." They came and saw where he was staying, and remained with him that day. Now it was about the 10th hour. Again, the next day, John stood with two of his disciples, and looking at Jesus as he walked, he said, "Behold, the Lamb of God." The two disciples heard him speak, and they followed Jesus. Then Jesus turned, and seeing them following, said to them, "What do you seek?" They said to him, "Rabbi," which is to say, when translated, "Teacher, where are you staying?" And and I think I've just realized that I copied and pasted this twice here. And so, anyways, he said that now was about the 10th hour. Let's keep on going. And he brought him to Jesus. Now, when Jesus looked at him, he said, "You are Simon, the son of Jonah. You shall be called Cephas," which is translated as stone. I was getting deja vu. It seemed awfully familiar what I've already was saying. But again, we copied and pasted part of this twice. But we see in verses 35 through 42 that really continues along with the story of Jesus beginning his ministry. We see Jesus starting to really choose his disciples. And we see where John is standing with two of his disciples. And so, what's interesting is that some of the disciples of Jesus were all also followers of John. Okay, which would make sense. He's telling them, "Hey, look for this guy." John is saying, "This is the guy that you're looking for. This is the Lamb of God." And so they would go and follow Jesus. And so they see, as continuing on, they see him following, or he sees them following. He asks, "What do you seek?" And they ask where he's staying. He tells them to come and see. And then, as we continue, we see it says that they came and saw where he was staying and remained with him that day. And now and I think I have this messed up again. I don't know what is going on here, but we see where Andrew is bringing his brother, and we see it's Andrew and Simon. And Jesus says, "You are Simon, the son of Jonah. You shall be called Cephas," which is translated to stone. So we see Simon, we see Cephas. This is Peter. And so we see Peter being brought on to the scene as well. So he will be one of the, I guess you would say, the main apostles, one of the, of that inner circle of apostles that we'll see later on. And again, I have all of these verses. I don't know what happened. I got them all kinds of messed up on this screen here. But again, we see these disciples being brought forth. We see Peter being brought onto the scene here. So again, just setting up the stage for the calling of Jesus's disciples and them following them. Verses 43 through 46. Maybe I didn't mess this up. It says, the following day, Jesus wanted to go to Galilee, and he found Philip and said to him, follow me. Now, Philip was from Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Peter. Philip found Nathanael and said to him, we have found him of whom Moses in the law and also the prophets wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph. And Nathanael said to him, could anything good come out of Nazareth? Philip said to him, come and see. And so we see where Jesus was going to Galilee, and here he tells Philip to follow him. And it's very interesting that we'll see these instances when Jesus just says, follow me, and they just get up and go, which I always find to be interesting. I know it just may seem that way because of how the writers are bringing it forth. But it doesn't seem like these people have much hesitation. When he tells them to go, they get up and go with him. And it says, now Philip was from Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Peter. And I have a map here on the screen. You'll see the Sea of Galilee. Notice Jesus was going to Galilee. And Bethsaida there is on the northern side of Galilee. Okay, so you'll see some other if you're familiar with the Gospels, you'll see some names which you've seen before: Capernaum, Tiberias. We see Nazareth over there on the west side, kind of further away from the Sea of Galilee. But this is kind of, just setting up the stage for a lot of Jesus' travel. As we continue on, you'll see that he spends a lot of time in the area of Galilee, going around from place to place teaching. And so he's in that area. He finds Philip, which is from that same city of Andrew and Peter. And then we see Philip find Nathanael, and he tells Nathanael, we found the Messiah. We found the person who has been written in Moses and the prophets, Jesus of Nazareth. And we see Nathanael's response. He says, can anything good come out of Nazareth? Apparently, I didn't do much studying. I don't even know if we know why Nathanael would have such an attitude like this. But he's just like, man, can anything good come out of here? Apparently, there's some bad people in Nazareth. He's had bad experiences with those people. And, I think about, we think of maybe certain parts of the country, or even certain parts of Mississippi or wherever it may be. And we may say, well, that person's from so-and-so. He can't be that great. Or, I've never met a decent person from this area of the state or from the country. And so he's already just prejudiced against Jesus, that, there's no way the Messiah could have come from this place. But Philip says to him, come and see. And so that takes us to verses 47 through 51. And it says, Jesus saw Nathanael coming toward him and said to him, behold, an Israelite indeed, in whom is no deceit. Nathanael said to him, how do you know me? Jesus answered and said to him, before Philip called you, when you were under the fig tree, I saw you. Nathanael answered and said to him, Rabbi, you are the Son of God, you are the King of Israel. Jesus answered and said to him, because I said to you, I saw you under the fig tree, do you believe? You will see greater things than these. And he said to him, most assuredly, I say to you, hereafter you shall see heaven open, and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man. So Jesus comes towards Nathanael. Notice what he says. So Nathanael has this bad attitude. And I think here that Jesus knows what Nathanael is thinking and how he responds. An Israelite in whom is no deceit. Now, I don't know if Jesus is saying this because it is true, this is a good, honest individual, or he's saying this that, he's trying to butter him up. I don't know. I think there's something here where Jesus knows a little bit about Nathanael, that he says these things that's off-putting, but I tend to think that Jesus does see some honesty in Nathanael and describes him as that. Nathanael asks him, how does he know him? And notice what he says, before Philip called you, when you were under the fig tree, I saw you. So Jesus, again, miraculously, he's obviously not spying on Nathaniel. He's not spying on Philip, but he knows what's going on, and Jesus tells him that. He says, I saw you under the fig tree before even Philip came upon you. And so instantly, for whatever reason, maybe this is, some spot that's very secluded, very private, which makes it just absolutely obvious that this is a miracle. I don't know why, but we see Nathaniel immediately uh, understand what's going on here. He says, Rabbi, you are the Son of God, you're the King of Israel. He knows immediately that this was not possible unless a miracle occurred. And notice Jesus' response to that. That Jesus is basically saying, well, if you think this is big, just wait until you see what I'm fixing to do. Jesus answered and said to him, because I said to you, I saw you under the fig tree. Do you believe you will see greater things than these? That there's going to be more and more magnificent miracles than just what you've seen here. So this is what gets you to believe. You got a lot more in store. He ends this chapter by saying, and he said to him, most assuredly I say to you, hereafter you shall see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man. Interesting what he says here. And we don't, in the Gospels or anywhere, we don't see this actually occurring with Jesus. And so maybe this is the instance of just there's something happened, some type of vision happened, and we don't have record of it. Or, and I think a better interpretation, or at least that makes more sense in my mind, is that he's saying something in a figurative manner, that he's using this description to describe the greater things in which he will see. That Jesus, he has he was with the Father, he has direct link with the Father, that you're going to see some very miraculous things, that could not happen without God being involved. And I think more likely he's saying something of that manner. And of course, this may be could be literal, but I think because we don't have record of anything of this matter, that there is something else going on. Another point that Jesus is making with that. But you think about, and we'll look at some miracles that we'll see in the book of John. Is that, I mean, there's, you think about the transfiguration of Jesus. You think about Jesus ascending to God after the resurrection, and not to mention the death, burial, resurrection itself. That these are some very magnificent things, that they're going to see things that are unheard of, that would be unbelievable if they didn't lay eyes upon them themselves. And so I think this is what the point that Jesus is trying to make here. And so he's saying, you're going to see some things where you're with me. And so again, we finish up John chapter 1, Jesus starting to gather up his group of disciples here. And that's where we ended in chapter 2. And so this is the end of this lesson for this week. If you got any questions or comments, feel free to leave them here. I'll try to respond to that. Again, we put all these videos up on YouTube, and I hope that this is beneficial. I know these are not long lessons. These are not meant to be just very thorough, exhaustive lessons on these books, but we just really hit main points and get ourselves thinking about the scriptures. And so until next time, I'm planning on, or at least I try to have these up every week. A lot of times it doesn't work out, but I try to put these up every Sunday evening. And so until next time, I hope that you all have a good day and a good rest of the week. Thanks.